Welcome to Clever Money Hacks, the channel where money moves and life improves. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the hidden economy of the super rich and, more importantly, how you can actually profit from it.
And a fascinating topic. Because usually when we talk about the ultra wealthy, the conversation goes in one of two directions.
Yeah.
You know, it's either this intense envy or it's a kind of hero worship. You know, what time does Elon Musk wake up?
Right.
Or how do I manifest a yacht?
Right, the whole billionaire morning routine obsession, cold
Yeah.
showers and journaling at 4 a.m., that whole thing.
Exactly. But the source material we're diving into today argues that looking at them as role models for their lifestyle is a total waste of time. Instead, we should be looking at them as a market,
A market.
a secluded, high-demand, high-margin market.
A market that needs things.
A lot of things.
Precisely. The real opportunity isn't, becoming a billionaire overnight. It's understanding that these individuals live in a completely different economic reality.
And that reality requires a massive sort of invisible infrastructure to sustain it. And if you can build a piece of that infrastructure, that's where the real money is.
And when you say different reality, you're not kidding. I was going through the research for this deep dive, and I honestly had to double-check some of the numbers. There's a mention here of a guy who details private jets.
Ah, yes. The jet detailer.
He's not fixing the engines. He's not flying the plane. He is washing it, detailing it.
Yep.
And he gets paid $9,000 an hour.
It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it?
$9,000 to wash a plane. I mean, I take my car to the drive-through for $12, and I feel like I'm splurging if I get the hot wax.
Right. But let's unpack that because it's a perfect example of the economic physics we're dealing with here.
Yeah,
To an average person, washing a vehicle is a commodity, is soap and water.
sure.
But within this ecosystem of the super rich, a private jet is a $50 million asset.
So they're not paying for the soap.
No, they're paying for insurance. They are paying for the guarantee that the person touching that asset understands the stakes.
Okay.
If you use the wrong chemical on a sensor or you scratch a specialized paint coating, that's a $100,000 repair. Or worse, a safety hazard. The $9,000 an hour isn't for labor, it's for risk mitigation, for specialized trust.
That makes so much sense. It's not cleaning, it's asset preservation.
Exactly. And that is really the core of what we were discussing today. The rich have created this secluded economy, and there's a massive supply and demand imbalance for reliable providers within it.
So let's map out this landscape first. Who are we actually talking about here? Because rich is a pretty vague term.
It is.
Are we talking about the dentist with the nice BMW or or someone else?
The source material draws a pretty hard line. We're talking about the super rich, and that's defined as individuals with a net worth of $10 million or more.
10 million plus. Okay.
And interestingly for our listeners, the United States is effectively the headquarters for this demographic.
I saw that number. The U.S. is home to something like 40% of the world's super rich.
40%. It's wild. And if you go up the ladder, there is about 11,000 people worth over $100 million.
Wow.
The top 1% now controls over $23 trillion in wealth.
Which is double what they had just 10 years ago.
The pie is getting significantly bigger.
Much bigger.
What's critical here is that they aren't just, hoarding gold coins in a vault like Scrooge McDuck. The data shows the top 10% of households now account for nearly half of all consumer spending in the U.S.
But, and this is the key, right? They aren't spending it at the local mall.
No,
Yeah.
they're spending it on what the source calls lifestyle design. And to understand this, we have to look at the daily life of someone in this group. Let's say they live in Miami.
Right, which has seen a huge influx. I think the source said Miami's seen a 70% increase in high net worth migration since 2020.
Exactly. Everyone's moving there, or Austin, Aspen, Scottsdale. So our subject wakes up in a $40 million waterfront home. Now, to you and me, a home is a place to live. To them, a $40 million estate is basically a commercial operation.
Like a small hotel, essentially.
It really is. It has staff, complex security systems, HVAC that rivals an office building, groundskeeping needs. The source estimates the overhead just to run the house.
Before you even buy food.
For a single crumb of food is over $500,000 a year.
$500,000 just to keep the lights on and the floors clean.
Essentially. Then you layer on the personal maintenance. They head to their private gym where a personal trainer meets them. That's $500 an hour.
Wow.
Maybe they use an infrared sauna or a cold plunge. Those be technicians. Then a private chef prepares breakfast. And the source lists that salary at what, around 150,000 a year?
150K for a chef.
Correct. And then the driver takes them to the office. It's a completely frictionless existence. But the insight here isn't to look at that and say, wow, I wish I had a driver.
Right.
The insight is to look at that and say, wow, that is a lot of employment.
It's an economy, a whole ecosystem.
It's an accelerating economy. Luxury hospitality is growing 4 times faster than traditional travel. So the argument here is, don't try to manifest this lifestyle.
Don't try to look rich.
Exactly. Instead, recognize that this engine needs fuel. The secret isn't to get rich like them, not immediately. It's to sell to them.
Which brings us to the strategy part of this deep dive. The source material calls this quiet wealth. I love that phrase. It feels like the total opposite of the flashy influencer stuff you see everywhere.
It really is the antidote to that.
Yeah.
The philosophy of quiet wealth is to just stop chasing attention. Stop trying to launch the next viral pop-up business.
Or drop shipping scheme.
Right. Instead, you chase cash flow by building, well, boring businesses.
Boring is beautiful.
It is. And they use a framework to explain it called QUIET.
Okay, let's break that down. Q is for question the noise.
Right. And this is all about deprogramming. You have to stop assuming that status equals success. Just because someone posts a photo of a Lamborghini doesn't mean they're wealthy.
They could be leasing it to sell a course.
They probably are. And conversely, you have to stop assuming your spending habits apply to the super rich.
That's a big one. I catch myself doing that. I think I would never pay $50 for someone to deliver my coffee.
Exactly. You hesitate because $50 matters to your budget. But to them, they won't hesitate to spend $5,000 if it solves a problem instantly. You can't price your services based on your own wallet.
Okay, so that's Q. U is understand value.
Money flows where problems exist. The bigger the problem, or the more annoying the friction, the more profit there is in solving it. You're hunting for the friction in their lives.
Then up is identify high net worth clients, which sounds simple, but so many businesses target people who are broke.
It's the difference between selling water in a desert versus selling water by a river. Mass market, you're competing on price. Can I make this cheaper?
Right.
With the super rich, the question is, can you make this perfect?
E is execute.
So don't just get a job, build a business, professionalize.
And finally, T is time.
The ultimate asset. If you can give a rich person their time back, that is the most valuable currency you can possibly trade in.
Okay, so we have the philosophy. Quiet wealth. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. The source breaks this down into 4 tiers. It's like a video game. You have to level up. It starts with Tier C, convenience.
Tier C is the gateway. This is about removing micro frictions. Think about all the annoying daily tasks.
Dog walking, landscaping, flower delivery, in-home hairstyling.
Exactly.
But I have to play devil's advocate here. If I tell my friends I'm quitting my job to become a dog walker, they're going to laugh at me. Because I think dog walker, and I think, what, $20 an hour?
And that is what the source calls the trap.
The trap. Oh.
Yes. Most people in this tier price convenience like it's labor. They think, it takes me an hour to walk the dog, so I charge for an hour of my time. The unlock here is understanding that wealthy people think in terms of outcome, not hours. They don't care how long it takes you. They care that the problem named dog is solved.
So the strategy shift is from hourly income to outcome-based pricing.
Yes. Instead of $25 an hour, you charge a flat retainer. Maybe it's $3,000 to $7,000 a month for a full-service pet management package.
$7,000 a month for pets.
If you're providing a premium service, absolutely. Look at Norland nannies. The source focuses on them a lot.
Right. These aren't the teenagers from down the street.
Not at all. The source says they earn $150,000 a year.
150 grand.
Right. Because they are professionals. They handle education, they coordinate travel, emotional development, security. They're trained at a specialized college.
So they aren't selling babysitting. They are selling child development and peace of mind.
Peace of mind. Exactly. Yeah. Another great example was a laundry business called Rents. They're making nearly $20 million a year.
Wow.
And their pitch isn't, we wash clothes. It's, pay us and never think about laundry again.
That's the key phrase right there. Never think about it again.
You are absorbing the chaos of their life. You're smoothing it out. That is what you are actually selling in Tier C. You are a shock absorber for the wealthy.
Okay, so that's convenience. You're doing the tasks they don't want to do. But let's say you want to move up. Higher margins, maybe less physical labor. That takes us to Tier B, expertise.
Tier B is a significant jump. In Tier C, you're saving them time.
Yeah.
In Tier B, you're saving them from thinking.
You're saving them mental energy.
You're providing specialized competence. The source says, at this level, wealthy people don't want 10 different vendors asking them questions. They hate the questions. They have decision fatigue.
Right. They run companies, manage investments. The last thing they want is the electrician asking, do you want the switch here or here?
Exactly. They want someone who says, I put the switch here. It's the best place for it. The magic sentence at this tier is, here's what I recommend.
So you're charging for judgment, not just output?
Precisely. And the examples here are great, like smart home integrators. These companies in, say, South Florida, they charge $100,000 to $400,000 just to set up the automation in an estate.
And it's not just a smart thermostat.
Oh no, it's enterprise-grade networks, security integration, automated shades. But the real money isn't even the installation.
It's the retainer.
It's the retainer. They charge a monthly fee just for oversight, to ensure that when the client pushes movie mode, the lights actually dim. That reliability is worth a fortune.
The other example that cracked me up but totally makes sense was Editorialist, the wardrobe system. The source compared it to the movie Clueless.
Yes, the rotating closet. I remember that.
Exactly. That scene where Cher picks her outfit on the computer.
It was sci-fi in the 90s, but it's a business model now. Editorialist digitizes the client's closet. They photograph everything. Then they charge monthly fees around $1,700 a month.
Plus a $6,000 initiation fee.
Right. And for that, they curate outfits. They'll say, you have a board meeting in Davos. Here is the coat, the scarf, and the boots you should wear. They'll source rare pieces.
It sounds so frivolous, but I guess if you're a CEO, looking sloppy could actually cost you a deal.
It's branding. And again, it's removing the question, what do I wear, from their brain. If you earn $10,000 an hour, spending 20 minutes staring at your closet costs you $3,000.
So paying them $1,700 a month is a bargain.
It's a bargain. It's a wild way to look at it, but it's true.
Okay, so Tier B is about being the expert. I handle this, don't worry. But then we go higher. Tier A, trust.
Now we're getting into the inner circle. Tier A is where you move from being a go-to person to the person who makes things go. You are making decisions on their behalf.
And the role they talk about is chief of staff.
Right. Think of the White House chief of staff. Their job isn't just to manage a schedule. It's to control the flow of information, to manage personalities, to decide who gets 5 minutes and who gets 0.
And these wealthy families, they operate like mini corporations.
They do. They have assets, staff, travel, events. They need a chief of staff to manage that whole infrastructure, to be a human firewall between the chaos of the world and the calm of the principal.
And the pay reflects that. The source says often around $250,000 a year.
Easily. And what's interesting is the source notes an MBA isn't necessarily required for this. They aren't paying for your spreadsheets. They're paying for your ability to influence, coordinate, and execute.
You don't just join the team, you run the team.
Exactly. The example was ensuring the jet is wheels up at 2.15 and the Wagyu steak is medium rare at 7.03.
That one sentence perfectly captures the pressure. It makes me sweat just thinking about it.
It should. Because at that level, there is no margin for error. If the jet is late, you can't say traffic was bad. You were paid to anticipate the traffic.
Right.
If the steak is overcooked, it's not oops. It's a failure of the system you were hired to manage.
You are paid for perfection and discretion.
And that's why it's the trust tier. You have the keys to the kingdom.
Which leads us to the absolute peak, Tier S authority. This sounded less like a job and more like being a silent partner.
That's a fair way to put it. In Tier S, you stop operating the machine and you start designing the engine. These are roles like private CFOs, estate directors, chief investment officers.
So we're not talking about a generic financial advisor you meet at the local bank.
No. This is someone who oversees the entire financial empire of a specific family. They might be managing construction across 3 continents, handling tax strategy, everything.
And the money.
Substantial. Base salaries from $250,000 up to $1 million plus. But the real wealth comes from the performance bonuses.
Profit sharing, that kind of thing.
Profit sharing or even equity in the underlying companies. You become an architect. No one second guesses you. You tell the client, we're selling this asset and buying this one, and they just say, okay.
But, and there's always a but, the source calls this the golden handcuffs. It sounds intense.
It's the major leagues, and the downsides are real. First, a total loss of privacy and work-life balance. You are expected to anticipate needs before they're even asked.
So you're on call 24/7 forever.
You are. Late-night text, weekend crises, holidays are interrupted. That's the norm. And loyalty is non-negotiable. One mistake, one breach of trust, and you are out.
And quickly, I imagine.
Very quickly. There's no HR department to complain to. If you lose their trust, you lose everything.
So looking at these 4 tiers, convenience, expertise, trust, authority, how does someone actually navigate this? You don't just walk in off the street and apply for the authority role.
No, and the source lays out a really clear roadmap. You start in Tier C.
Convenience. Back to the dog walking.
Back to the beginning. Spend 1 to 3 years in Tier C.
Yeah.
Pick one problem, high-end landscaping, specialized cleaning, whatever.
Yeah.
And just prove you can solve that one problem perfectly.
Get in the ecosystem.
Get in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Then you spend maybe 3 to 7 years perfecting your systems to reach Tier B expertise.
Yeah.
You stop doing the work yourself. You hire a team. You build a brand.
So you aren't the dog walker anymore. You own the premier pet management agency in the city.
Correct. And from there, you have choices. You can move into Tier A and work exclusively for one family, cashing in your reputation for a high salary role. Or you keep scaling your business.
And the ultimate goal, which I thought was so cool, is you can eventually ask that wealthy client to invest in your business.
That's the crossover point. That's where you stop just serving the rich and potentially become one of them, because you've demonstrated you can handle complexity and execute these boring business models better than anyone else.
And that really is the main takeaway for me today. We get so caught up in the tech startup myth that you have to invent the next big thing.
Right.
But this deep dive suggests you just need to own the boring businesses that rich people already rely on. Laundry, logistics, home maintenance.
It's all infrastructure. The wealthy live in a world that requires massive support. If you can provide that support reliably, discreetly, and with high quality, the economic ceiling is incredibly high.
You don't have to be the star of the show. There's a lot of money in being the stage manager.
Stage manager for the billionaires. I like that. It puts a whole new perspective on service industries, right? It's not about servitude. It's about strategy.
It really is. Well, this has certainly made me rethink my reluctance to do my own laundry. Maybe I'm just sitting on a $20 million business idea.
Or at least you should start charging yourself a premium for doing it.
I'll send the invoice to myself later. This has been a fascinating look into a world most of us only see from the outside. Thank you for listening to today's episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your ideas for future episodes. See you next time.